The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone. It is 5 a.m. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Chris Burton. We begin this morning with explosive new allegations being made in a lawsuit filed by the former assistant chief of the Bakersfield Police Department. Evan Demestahas claims he was demoted and fired after speaking out about a deadly shooting by the son of the then Bakersfield police chief. Jose Gaspar from our sister station Telemundo Valle Central takes a closer look.
3 years ago in 2019, Ivan Demestahas and his ex-wife were caught on a surveillance camera having a loud argument inside a white car in the parking lot of the VIP lounge on California Avenue. Witnesses heard a woman screaming and called police. Demestahas was arrested and booked for domestic violence. He was later fired. But in reality, says Demestahas in his lawsuit, these were bogus charges.
Contact was made with the suspect.
He claims BPD retaliated against him because he cooperated with the State Attorney General's office
going to a field northbound
in an investigation of a 2017 officer-involved shooting. That officer is Warren Martin, son of then Bakersfield Police Chief Lyle Martin. The shooting at Plants Park killed A.J. Augustus Crawford, and BPD ruled it a justifiable shooting. But according to the lawsuit, Demestahas had concerns about potential violations with the shooting and told others about it. The Department of Justice also decided to relook into the shooting, according to court documents.
You're not built for that. You're built to help people.
The suit further claims that Demestahas' ex-wife repeatedly told police she was not a victim of domestic violence and that the department tried repeatedly to get her to change her story. The lawsuit quotes her from a letter she wrote to BPD, which states, in part, "I was harassed by the BPD. I finally had to get a law firm, contact the city, and ask them to leave me alone." Other officers who were supportive toward Demestahas were allegedly told by superiors to keep quiet or risk being demoted, according to the suit. In the 3 years since Demestahas was arrested, he's been suspended, fired, reinstated, and then demoted to lieutenant. And as for those charges of domestic violence, the Kings County District Attorney's Office investigated but declined to file charges, as did the Kern County District Attorney's Office. Currently, Demestahas remains on unpaid leave. We tried to get a comment from Bakersfield Police and the City Attorney's Office, but spokesman Eric Galvan would only say that Demestahas remains a city employee and the city had no comment on the lawsuit. Jose Gaspar, 17 News.
5:05 your time now, and now to some breaking news from overnight. Police asking for help finding a missing 15-year-old girl. We'll show you a picture of Yasmin Nunez. Bakersfield police say she was last seen around 6 p.m. last night on South Haley Street near Virginia Avenue. Nunez is described as 5'6", 140 pounds. She was last seen wearing a blue Nike shirt, blue jeans, and white shoes. Police say she has a diminished mental capacity. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Yasmin Nunez, call police.
And turning now to your 17 Court Watch, the man accused of spray painting racist remarks on a Delano church was formally arraigned on hate crime charges yesterday. Investigators say the 33-year-old Kyle Lewis Sisson vandalized the New Allen Chapel AME Church on at least 3 separate occasions. He was arrested last week after Delano police received tips from the community. Leaders of the church saying they haven't been able to remove the hateful messages yet, and that Sisson should pay the price for his actions.
He seems to have singled out this church for whatever reason, for his torment. So that needs to be addressed. He seems to be at this stage probably more than just a nuisance. He does need to suffer whatever consequences are out there for what he did.
Sisson faces up to 6 years in prison on charges of vandalizing a church because of race and property damages to violate civil rights. He's being held on $500,000 bail and is due back in court next week. Meantime, a former girls basketball coach convicted of engaging in sex acts with one of his players is scheduled to be sentenced today. A jury last month found Keith Cash guilty of committing a sex act with a minor and other charges. The alleged victim in 2018 told police she was 14 when she and Cash had sexual encounters at multiple locations on a high school campus. Cash faces up to 4 years and 8 months in prison and lifetime sex offender registration.
This morning, the Kern County Fire Department is mourning the loss of one of their own.
Only the stations refer to email and regards from the chief for the passing of firefighter Mark Schmidt. All mourning bands are approved to be worn at flags to be flown at half staff until further notice.
The department says Mark Schmidt spent 17 years saving lives in Kern County. Sadly, the 61-year-old lost his life on Sunday after a years-long battle with cancer. Chief Aaron Duncan has ordered all flags at all Kern County fire departments to be flown at half staff until firefighter Schmidt is laid to rest. Schmidt's last assignment was at Station 23 in Fellows. The chief released a statement saying, "Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends during this difficult time."
A happy follow-up to a story we brought you last week. Over a dozen students from Lamont will be competing in a prestigious cross-country meet in Tennessee this weekend, thanks to you, our viewers.
I was so happy to see this morning. Last week, of course, we shared the story about the 13 students from the Lamont School District needing some help to travel to Knoxville to compete at the Amateur Athletic Union National Cross Country Championships. Of course, a huge event for them. The team's coach, Maria Gonzalez, informed us that they surpassed the $3,500 needed for the total cost of the trip. She added 2 people even donated running shoes for all 13 kids. Just incredible generosity. That money won't only cover all their meals and lodging costs, though. It'll also go towards some activities to make the trip an unforgettable one for the kids. The group left from Lamont to LAX this morning at 3 a.m. Competition this Saturday. The team scheduled to return late Sunday night. So we just want to thank you, all of our viewers, for giving back in the spirit of the Golden Empire. Of course, we'll keep you posted on their competition. We'll all be rooting for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They're so cute.
They're
Congratulations,
adorable.
And we definitely are rooting for them.
Absolutely.
To Capitol Hill, where the clock is ticking for Congress to beat 2 major deadlines. One prevents a nationwide rail strike. The other avoids a government shutdown. Missing either one of those deadlines could have severe economic consequences. NBC's Bree Jackson's in Washington with more.
Congress is racing to beat a December 9th deadline to keep the railroad industry on track after contract negotiations stalled over issues like a lack of sick days.
It doesn't matter how much money you make if you can't spend time at home or you can't be homesick.
It's estimated a strike could cost the economy anywhere from $500 million a week to $2 billion a day. President Biden, meeting with congressional leaders, says lawmakers must intervene.
It's not an easy call, but I think we have to do it. The economy is at risk.
Top Republicans are on board with reaching a labor agreement, but criticized the need for it.
If you're passing a bill to force the rail workers to work, how strong is your economy?
Meanwhile, federal efforts to protect interracial and same-sex marriages are moving full steam ahead.
The bill, as amended, has passed.
Legislation passed the Senate with bipartisan support and now heads to the House.
We are able to send a message across the country that this is normal. These families are normal. These marriages are normal.
I really salute my colleagues on the Republican side of the aisle who stepped forward despite a lot of pressure.
Lawmakers are also under pressure to reach a budget deal by December 16th.
We all agreed that it should be done this year. We all agreed we had to work together and everybody had to give a little bit.
With deadlines to avert both a government shutdown and a rail strike fast approaching, Congress must act swiftly. Top Democrats say a vote to codify federal protections for same-sex and interracial marriages could come as soon as next Tuesday. If it does pass the House, it will then go to President Biden's desk for his signature. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
House Republicans, meantime, say they will make the nation's fentanyl crisis a major focus of their crime prevention efforts once they take control of the House next year. During the meeting yesterday between congressional leaders and President Biden, Bakersfield Congressman and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy brought up the increase of fentanyl coming into the U.S. According to House Republicans, the crisis will be their top priority come January.
I think we're going to have to hold their feet to the fire. We're going to have to use the power of the checkbook. If you want certain levels of funding for different non-essential areas of the government, you're going to have to get serious and work with Republicans on securing the southern border.
According to the CDC, fentanyl is the leading cause of death for people 18 to 45 years old.
Well, California's historically high gas prices were at the center of a hearing held yesterday by the State Energy Commission. The energy commissioners want more transparency about why gas prices in the state are still so high. The hearing comes less than 2 months after California saw all-time high gas prices in early October, spiking at $6.43 a gallon statewide, nearly $2.60 more than the national average. But the oil industry says there is no one issue causing the high prices.
What we pay at the pump is due to a number of very complicated factors. Supply and demand, global volatility, what we see going on around the world with wars and such, outages of refineries.
Governor Gavin Newsom hopes to get his oil windfall tax proposal passed through the legislature at the start of the next session.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.